What do you Okay. What do you actually want to show? So we will be talking about how do you create carousels? How can you use Canva to leverage your designs? How creative can you get? And where can you be simpler? Where can you be more clearer? So yeah. So the first question is, why does a certain design really matter? So do you remember when you get your iPhone? I am sure you must have seen or used an iPhone, and how that design or that calligraphy comes up in the very first screen, and that is so perfect, or that is so soothing, you must say. So these things actually are behind a good designer. So, as you know, Steve Jobs was very much into how these designs should matter. If you have used the phone as well, you will see a smoother edge or a little bit of design which, changes the experience a lot. So, what the survey says is that people actually judge a brand in a very millisecond they get, because we all know about our um attention span, that it is so low. We need to have something very attractive. And the most important point is, if you really want to set your impression, it has to be different, or it has to be soothing, or whatever kind of brand you want to design, but it has to be something which tells about your brand. How does it feel to use your brand or to have your brand? So we need to create a virtual trust for sure. And you need to set a parameter as well, that how should people see your brand. So that's why designs do matter, and people or brands spend a lot of time on designing it, using different kind of variety, using different kind of carousels, different type of patterns. So it is an important aspect for sure. So let's talk about how does the real world perceives about the design. So if your design looks random, people don't know what are you talking about and what are you promoting. For example, if we see a cream brand which take a sunscreen, and the branding of that is very specific to why is it like a nurturing product, or it needs to say that it will help you in a certain way. And here designs come and they play a very important role. So there are 3 points which branding, which a proper designing can help your brand. The first one is that you need to be very consistent, and you need to, once you have tried a lot of different stuff, you need to understand what is working out for your brand and what is also showing the personality of your brand. That is the most important part, because then the audience who needs to pursue it, that is also very clear. If somebody is very harsh or very strict towards their goal, your brand should tell that, and those people will be attracted. The most important point over here is, how do you stay consistent? And the second part is that you need to be out there. When you stay consistent, for example, if you are scrolling on Instagram, you see some of people who are making reels or stories, they use the same tagline to start. Whenever they are starting or whenever they are ending, they have a hook with them. So this makes us recognize them every time. If we see them after 1 week as well, we will be able to recognize them, that okay, this is the person I have seen somewhere, or I have heard somewhere. So the data really talks about how consistent are you, and it has helped people to recognize brands, to spread awareness about the brand as well. So this is an important aspect. Moving on, so today, as we are talking about how can you create a band kit and how can you use Canva as well to leverage all of these things. So I'm going to take each section separately, like typography, colors, layouts, or what kind of images do you want. So this is called a brand kit, wherein you can create your own brand kit before you go out open there. Okay, so let's get started. Do we have any questions till now? Okay, I'll continue. So the first part is about the typography. So that is about the voice. What are you trying to say? And because text, yes, it has to be on a limited number, but it has to be very, very effective. And you need to have a structure for it. What is your heading? And what is your subheading, or what is your final text? Whenever we are trying to create a good visual, we try to focus more on the pictures, more on showing how does it look, more on showing what our brand or our product or our services do. But the in between text which you have, where you are clearly stating that okay, this is what we mean, this is the name of the brand, this is the work of the product or the service, that is also very important. So while you are choosing your typography, when I go to the next slide, you can see how different fonts play different moods as well. If you have a brand which is catering to, suppose, an ice cream parlor or something on a softer side, you want to make sure that your title or your text conveys that you are a person who will nurture anybody who comes to your brand. So these are very important things, and also the space is quite wide, and you can keep experimenting that what kind of, it's not just about the look, but it should feel, how does one take on the other end. So you need to make sure that what kind of text is important. And while you are writing a text on your post, within your pictures or carousels, you need to make sure that you define that this is my title and this is like a tagline or a subtitle, and then below that you put a small text if you want to. So you need to clearly define that what is your name and what do you do, so that there's a separation, so that people understand your brand, your name. So which is paid more attention over here. As you can see over here, this is a sketchy kind of a text. So if someone is hosting a escape room, maybe, so maybe this would be very good for them. So it really depends on what kind of brand or what kind of product do you have, and accordingly you need to experiment a lot. The next part is about the colors. The colors actually play a very important role. I will like to tell you a story about the color red. So now it's a Christmas time, and I have read this somewhere that the Santa Claus which we have today was able to wear any of the colors back in the time. But when Coca Cola came in, they started designing the Santas in their bold red color. And since then, we have been following this pattern that Santas have been always red. But that was not true. So, this is how strong a perception of a brand with color can be associated. Whenever you have a color associated with a brand, they tell a lot about your emotions. So, similarly, if we talk about the color red, which is supposed to be very bold and very powerful, if you want to keep something which is there for a long period of time, especially something like Pinterest, I am sure we all have come across that application, and some or the other how we have found it very fascinating. So, if there's something different about your brand or about your product or service, then you can associate it with a color red. If we talk about green, green not only represents nature, but also a lot of things like harmony, or if you're talking about money as well, health as well. So this is the color which keeps you more grounded. So this is more sober kind of a color. And these are the some main colors which you can pick up, and then you can keep experimenting, especially if we go with blue as well. You all know the brand Oreo, and they have tried with different blue colors as well. The symbol has remained very much the same, but just texture can also make the difference. So there is a lot of possibility of trying out and experimenting thing. And also with regards to blue, I am sure when you book your flight tickets, you see a lot of sky options or a lot of connectivity which they show on their site. So that is a very clear message that what are they doing on their platform. And similarly, when you come with yellow, there is a different perception of yellow. It's more about happiness or joy. It's not very aggressive like red or orange. It is more a cheerful, a lighter mood. So you need to decide and you need to experiment more what kind of colors are suiting your brand. So this is known as color psychology, and you can read more about it and you can experiment more about it as well. Moving on to the next one. Uh, so here we want to talk about the layout. Now, the layout which you set, the first thing is that it needs to be consistent, that this is the layout which has worked for my audience. Now, how will you know that? You need to experiment a lot with that. What kind of layout? The first thing when we choose a layout is how does it look? But more important question is what purpose is it solving? If I want to tell about my brand, that suppose it is a yoga fitness brand, and I want to talk about how we have trained people gaining a flexibility. So I need to make sure that my layout is in such a way that it has a image, it has two, three texts, it has more feedback kind of a stuff as well. So I need to decide how my layout should look. The very focused thing which we see here is when you are setting a hierarchy, what is your headline and what are your details? As we talked about the same thing in typography as well, you need to make sure that your brand name or the tagline, your headline, are highlighted enough so that it stays with people, right? So using, and also, when it comes to designing, you can always use a grid format to set a format. And if you have focused on designs, you will immediately, you will be able to see if there are any issues with the grid, if something is misaligned. So, these things are attention to detail, and it is very important for a brand to have more clarity about what are they trying to show. The fourth most important thing is I have seen brands taking doing a mistake wherein they put a lot in single post. That is not necessary here. You have all the time, you have all the space to grow, and you can be consistent. If you have a lot of things to say out, you can be more visible on the visual platforms, but you don't need to put everything in one design. So make sure that you are using your white space quite properly. Use the margins and stay consistent with your design. Whenever you are designing, because now we are designing a brand kit, make sure that you are able to stick to those margins or the consistency, the layout. And always make sure that the eye is always from left to right or from right to bottom. What kind of structure do you want to give? So a clarity should always be there. Moving on to the last part over here is about the images which you are trying to display in your visual stack. So if you are using the photos, because today it's a world of AI and we are able to generate AI videos or images quite quickly, and that is a smarter way to do, but you need to make sure that there's a personal touch which is given to your images. It's not just about writing a prompt and creating an image. So when it comes to image, there is a personality which you are trying to set up. So we will understand why do we have to stick to a brand mood, what is consistency over here, and how can you attract the right audience as well. So the first thing is, when you are trying to build a brand, make sure that it is human enough. So that, because you are in the end approaching a human being, you want real people to connect with you, either your product or your services. So you need to make sure that it is more candid, it is more easier for a real human being to trust your brand. What kind of image are you setting up? So the real y- human image is more helpful rather than just creating a stocked one. The second part is wherein you are defining the mood. Again, what kind of brand is it? If it is a premium brand, you need to make sure that it is set aside from others, what is out there in the market, so that you get that premium look as well. And yes, definitely with a virtual uh, display as well, you can create your premium look. You must have seen a lot of carousels wherein people use the silk background or something which is more premium. So there are a lot of possibilities to set a mood as well for your brand. If you are, as we have talked about the consistency, you need to make sure that you are using some similar kind of patterns in your images as well. If your images, if I will go back to the yoga studio example. If I am again and again showing more of a certain age group, maybe because I want to attract a younger people to my studio, so I need to make sure that the images speak a lot about them, so that I am able to target the right audience. So, on while we are tracking the right audience, please make sure and avoid the generic stock images, because yes, there is a lot of possibility to create images AI, using AI, or just to download it from somewhere, but everybody has the access to that. And if you have to be unique and set aside, you must try a little different approach over here. So, as we have covered the four main part about this, do we have any questions or should I move on? Okay, let's move on. So, let's talk about why Canva works. Canva is one of the tools which I have used from the very beginning of my content creation. Canva is much easier to work because sometimes you don't get a blank stage. It is more like you have your templates, you have a clarity, you can try out keywords wherein you will get more creative with it. So it is a stage where it helps you that you can start not from zero, but you have some basic idea of how it works. So definitely it is more helpful. Now, can I ask how many of you have already used Canva? I'll stop sharing my screen for a minute.
Yes, Sarvangini, the Canva is the most powerful tool. So I also been using it from a very long time for creating content for Stockholm Design Studio as well as for LinkedIn post which I am posting. So creating graphics I am using Canva because I got templates, ready-made templates over there. I just need to change some designs or some text according to my need. So it is very powerful too, I must say.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, Anybody else who has used Canva, or are you guys just starting with Canva?
But sometimes feels like if we are starting for the first time, it feel overwhelmed because there are so many things we can do with the Canva.
Yeah,
So it happens
definitely.
it happens sometimes like we don't know what we have to do actually with the Canva. So
Yeah,
this has also done happened with me. Like I stuck. I go with some ideas to Canva, but and then I stuck by seeing oh so many tools and so many designs over there. So it's happened. It's overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, that is that is quite true. When you have a lot of content or a lot of space to work, then there is a lot of confusion as well, and a clearer way would be more helpful. So I will bring back my screen, and now we will go to Canva and see how can you get started if you are a beginner, or how can you just start designing. Okay, so you can see my screen, and I will minimize this. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So you can see this is a Canva platform where I have logged in with my credentials, and I have been using the free version till now. I have not opted for the pro one. Definitely, there are a lot of facilities which are provided in pro, but you can always use the free one and get your works done. The best part about Canva is that you get the options and the clarity right here. What do you want to do? So that you are very clear. Suppose if I want to create something for LinkedIn. So when I type, I get all the information that what kind of template or what kind of things do you want to do on LinkedIn as well. As you can see, you have here Instagram stories or Instagram post. So you have a lot of options, and you can directly choose from what do you want to do. Okay. Um, the first page over here, first thing is the create, where you can get started. But I highly recommend you to go with a proper layout so that it's much easier. When you click on plus, you get all the things which you can create. Do you want to create a presentation? Do you want to create a LinkedIn post? Do you want to just create a document? So this is the thing which you should be able to select. And the best part is that they will also select the measurements and the dimensions for you. So you don't have to worry about what kind of dimensions, if the layout will change, what will happen. So here is something which you can get started. On the projects, you have all of your projects, whatever you have saved, whatever you have worked on. The best part about Canva is you don't need to save anything. If your laptop has been shut suddenly, there is no problem. If you had internet, everything whatever you have been working on will be saved. There is no loss of content over here. Okay, so let's get started. I will select social media, and we can select LinkedIn as I suggested. You can work on anything. If you want to create a video, you want to create a background photo. Okay, so we will start with a carousel. Now, this is your Canva. On the canvas, you can start creating whatever you feel like. If you have something in your mind, you can select the elements, you can select the design, and you can get started. But for today, I am going to show you what all options can you use from here. The first thing which I do is, if I have something in mind, what do I want to create? I will go to upload and upload what all photos or images I am going to use. You can directly do a upload file, and you can upload whatever is required here, so that you have your stock ready. What are you going to use? So this is the first thing which you should do if you have something in mind. The second part is you go to designs and you check out the templates, that what kind of template is suitable for you. If I want something maybe on business side, so I want to design a business card, or I want to write about how can you create your business card. So I have a lot of options, the pre-made carousels as well. I will just directly click on it, and I can import everything because I need all the pages. So here I have got my basic, which I want to use. I have those 7, 8 pages which were available, and I will use it accordingly. The best part over here is that you can write or you can edit everything. If I want to remove these things, or if I want to have a replacement of something over here, I can directly do that. That's not a problem. And I can delete whatever is not required. You can see how the template is made. So the template here is also made with a lot of elements. As you can see these lines here, it is a completely different element. If you want, you can use it. If you want to remove, you can also do that. So that's why it is much easier to start with a template, and then you can start your design. You can move over and stuff. So this is what happens on the design side, that you get what you want to talk about. You can select according to the style as well. If you want a different kind of a color combination when you go here, because as we talked about it, the brands are different. You might have a different kind of color sense which you want to pursue. So you select a professional one or a simple one. What all are your keywords? You want to make sure that you write your keywords here, and accordingly you get those options. So I will select something different here, and so this has been implemented to this particular page. If you want it for everything, I'm sure you can just select it and it will change the overall uh, perception over here as well. The second part is that the elements. This is the most fun part because you get a lot of things over here, right? You get those free elements which you can add. So the elements are a graphic or a photo or a frame if you want to add, or something if there is in 3D as well. So you can choose your graphic. What kind of graphic do you want to have? So this is very, very simple because you get to design your stuff accordingly, because you have a lot of flexibility. And if there are any keywords which you want me to try, you can definitely say it out loud and I can try and show you how does it look. Do you guys want to try something? Okay, no issues. But depending on what kind of brand you have, you definitely have a lot of stuff over here, and you need to keep experimenting, right? So these are some of the things which you can see. The second part over here is a text. As we spoke about it, how will you put your font? How do you want your brand to have a different kind of text, or what will separate you from others? So again, you have a lot of ideas, but you can of course start a new one and write accordingly. You have all the options over here. You can start with a blank one as well and start writing. So that's also a possibility. Here are the brands, and this comes in the paid version, so we are not going to try that one for today. The upload, I have already told you. And if you have something in mind, which is like, I just want a small circle or a note to stick around, you can use these. This is the free tools which you get here. So, this is how you can create a post in Canva. The second thing is, while you are creating as well, you get a lot of options. Like you see this part is behind the text. But what if I want to make sure that it comes to the front? So you have a lot of options where you can experiment. What do you like? Okay. If you have something which you want to be fixated to, so you can lock your screen as well, and you can experiment with the colors, with the pattern, with the shape or size of the product which you have put up here. So there are a lot of things which you can experiment here. And Also, while you are working in a team, or suppose you're working in a social media team wherein you have 3 to 4 people to share your designs with, so make sure that you add them to the group, and everybody can be a owner to it. Everybody can view the designs, and you can definitely ask for what kind of permissions do they want. So this is also a very good thing with Canva, that you can share your designs, and nobody needs to have their own deck, or somebody is working on a separate sheet, then there's an issue with the merge. There are no such issues. You can just have a same platform and you can do your work. The other person can also do his work. If somebody is working on the same sheet, I will get like a icon over here that okay, Bhavika is working here, or we can have that information as well. I will again go to the share part. Yeah, because it is very important to have, if you have noticed these things or not. The first one is download. You can download your design as it is. You can have a link of it as well, and you can print as well. So nowadays it's the 2025 is ending, and I have seen a lot of people are making their vision boards. I'm not sure if you guys are into it or not, but you can directly design your vision board and print it out and then put up wherever you want to. You can link it to your social media platform as well. And there are more options wherein you can present your designs as well if you want to. And the last option over here is to save and get started with your design. So this is about the Canva, how you can design and transfer your stuff and get started. I go back to my PPT. So we have discussed why Canva, and we have discussed the design as well. So I want to conclude this by saying that what all can you do today after going through this particular deck? The first thing is that please try to identify what kind of personal branding or what kind of branding are you trying to put forward. Are you trying to build up a personal brand which is more like you want to share your journey, you want to share your success, your failures, and you want to be out there? That is a totally different kind of a brand. Or do you have a product or a service to offer? Then you need to make sure whatever your product or service is, your brand is stating out about that. Suppose if you are selling some yoga mats, so it doesn't have to be all about yoga mats, but you can always talk about how is yoga helpful for someone, because that is also related to your brand. So make sure that you identify those 3 to 4 keywords which are important to you, and then set up a brand kit as well. That what kind of colors do I need, what kind of typography, what is my images which I'm going to use. So stock that up before you start uploading, because once you go out there and start uploading, you have to make sure that you are very consistent and you keep showing up. And a sustainable way to do that is when you have your kit and your things ready, because you will not be always very motivated to go out and post something. So you need to make sure that you have a sustainable plan, and you have a timeline or a layout wherein you are working with that, right? So that you don't get exhausted. So make sure that you build up your brand kit. Make sure that you are able to do a core template. Identify your template, identify what kind of things do you like, and what kind of things will attract people like you which you would like to be associated with. And then also keep trying out stuff, what is working for your brand. It has to be different things which you have tried out, and you will have that clarity as well. What was the post which was most engaging? What was the post which has reached more people? So you need to answer these questions for yourself as well. And while I was creating this PPT, I have created this PPT entirely on Canva. And as you can see, the PPT, there is all different kind of stuff which I have experimented with the layouts. And some of you must have liked a particular layout, some of you must have liked something else. So it is totally on you, but I wanted to experiment it more so that I can show you how experimental can we get with Canva as well. And yes, while you are preparing a PPT, you can also have a present form wherein you can record yourself presenting the PPT as well. So there are a lot of flexibility. You need to play around with the tool and you need to understand what is your purpose. I have been using Canva for almost everything now, doing my college projects on this, doing my presentations, doing my social media entirely on Canva. So it has been quite helpful. And I'm sure you can also experiment more and understand the brand more. Yeah. So back to you, Bhavika. I had this about Canva.
Thank you so much, Sarvangini. It was very nice, and the presentation, design wise, and the content wise was very amazing. And
Thank
definitely, we can work out and we can experiment lot of thing with the Canva. And every day there is something we can explore. It is a new, because as much as we go into the deeper with this tool, we get to know the new thing, that yes, this thing is also we can do with the Canva. There are a lot of thing we can do with the Canva, that uh, I'm also following some pages. I'm also following you, Sarvangini, on Instagram, and I'm liking your posts, and I'm sure that everybody can follow the Sarvangini, and can see that how she is creating her post, and how she is designing her posts, and how she is using the hook, and how she is starting and how she is ending. So it is very important to put your opinion, to put your point, and also uh, uh, make sure that, keep in mind that you are using a right design. So yes, and it is possible with the Canva. So we have now Q&A section. So if anybody has any questions regarding Canva or regarding today's session, you can ask, you can unmute yourself and ask, or you can put your question in chat. So we have 15 more minutes, so we can cover some questions. So yes, we are here to share our knowledge with each other. Yes, you can ask anything, or if you want to share something like you have tried this with the Canva and it turns out very good, so you can also share with us, so everybody can try those things. Yes, somebody has questions. You can put your questions in chat. We have chat section open. And also, if we tried that this layout is got more visibility on Instagram or LinkedIn, we can always repeat that, or always double down the what experiment we have done, and it is working. Then we can always try that. Okay, Satish has question, that I have question. Are there any ways to measure like analytics after changing the layout, etc.? Yeah.
you. It really, yeah, you can answer.
No, Sarvangini, you can go for it.
Okay. So, Satish, it is a very important question which you have asked there, that how can you check what is working for you and how can you measure your success. So it really depends on what kind of platform are you using. If you are using LinkedIn or if you are using Instagram, YouTube, all the platform have their own analytics as well associated with that. So once you have passed around 10 days or a week, so you know how your post has done. Has it been reaching to people or the content has killed? So you know that. So you have around 1 week to start experimenting and start checking out the layout. So that is really on the tool which you are using.
Yes, and we can always measure, like, we all know the like, share, follow, and how, and it's also depends on the goal, that what's your goal. You want only likes, you want only impressions, you want only follows, more follows. So that also depends on that impression, like what your actual goal is. The post you are posting, it is only for likes, or you want to get more followers. So it also depends on that. Yes, and we are recording this session, and we will soon post this on your our YouTube channel, and we will share the YouTube link to all our subscribers soon, maybe tomorrow. So if anybody miss anything or any part of the session, can always go and check on recording. Yes.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, maybe not right now, you can always connect with Sarvangini through LinkedIn. She is very active on LinkedIn. She will answer every your questions. And if you need any help in future regarding a Canva, we will always taking the suggestions from audience, like you want such kind of event, or you want such more practical events, so we can always arrange the Canva events in future. So let us know which kind of webinars or workshop you want to us to cover, so we will come up with that topic.
Yeah. And where are you guys joining from? You can write at the chat. Okay.
Nice,
Okay.
we have audience from different places: Stockholm, Ludhiana, India, Gothenburg. Yeah, that's nice.
Okay.
That's nice.
Are you guys working on social media or are you trying to prepare your own personal branding? You can just mention personal branding or work as a social media manager. Okay.
Yes. The Canva is the very nice tool, very amazing tool for the personal branding. To start with the personal branding, because there are a lot of things we can experiment, we can try, and we can check what is working, what is not. So yeah, this is the great tool.
Yeah. And have you guys, how many years have you been using Canva? Or you can mention zero as well if you are very new.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah. Then I think it is every one of us are kind of starting with this. So
Mhm.
we have a lot of scope of, experimenting and sharing what kind of layouts have worked for us.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
It's
That is
okay
good.
if we are not expert, because Canva is such a big tool, so nobody can be expert in every session. There are a lot of
Yeah.
things we have to do and we have to work on. So yes, I can say like nobody is expert in Canva in everything. There is something we need to learn and we need to work out in Canva. So
Yes, yes.
yes. Uh, okay. My voice is echoing.
Maybe it's not the case for me. So
Now, because my, and sorry for my voice, like I'm suffering from bad fever and cold. This is
it
not
is
this is
it
not
is
my real
okay.
voice. Yeah.
It is not for everyone. Maybe
Mm.
uh you will have to check your receiving end. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And are there any other tools which you guys are using for photo editing or video editing and anything else other than Canva?
Da Vinci Resolve.
Okay. I have not heard of that.
Yeah,
Something
me
new.
too.
Yeah.
CapCut, yeah, I am aware about CapCut. It is for TikTok, right? Or it is
Yeah,
on
cat
for in
yeah.
Instagram. Yeah.
CapCut is also quite you can do a lot of stuff with that.
Mm.
Most
Mm.
of it is video editing.
Mm.
And yeah, I feel video editing on Canva is little challenging. You need
Mm.
to be more brushed up with the tools and stuff. But definitely for photos or for carousels, I think Canva is very, very helpful. But we'll have to check about DaVinci Resolve for sure.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. I think it was a
Yeah.
good session.
Yes, it was a great session. So let's wrap up. Um, Thank you everyone for joining, and thank you, Sarvangini, for such great insights about Canva and social media branding. It is very helpful. Some points are, even I am using Canva from 2 years. It was something new for me from you that I learned today. So definitely I will use it in my design and in creating my personal brand and the creating content from Stockholm Design Studio. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for having this session with us. And also thank you so much for all great audience here who show the interests and they are eager to learn. Yeah.
Yeah. I think everyone can reach out to me on LinkedIn as well,
Yes. Yes.
and you can give the feedback as well. How was the session? How was it helpful? How can we improve as doing sessions or events as well? So it will be like a learning session for both of us, and the audience here
Also,
is very
also if
interactive.
you, yes, and also if you want any topic, a specific
Yeah,
topic that you want to learn or you want to get know about that regarding a Canva or regarding social media, we will definitely come with that. And yeah,
yeah, for sure. Okay, have a
okay,
good
thank you so
weekend.
much. Yes, happy
Yeah.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Mm. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.